friends, fellow curlers, special dignitaries, and state regional mixed champions, welcome. I'm your on-site chairman, Cal Barway, my wife Jean, on-site chairman, and co-chairman are Tom and Doris Day. Two main dignitaries tonight are going to be Virginia Daly, Seattle City Council member, and Dr. Turner will give the invocation. First speaker tonight is Virginia from the City of Seattle.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here this evening to bring official greetings from the city, to welcome our people from afar, and to say hello to all of my good friends in the Granite Curling Club.
We'll have the throwing out of the first stone, honoring our club's seniors and juniors. Two of the senior members, two of the junior members. Folks, go ahead and make ready. Holding the broom will be Gladys now. Gladys now is our most senior woman curler. Curled for several years. She curls in 3 leagues when not busy with badminton, lawn bowling, and gourmet cooking. And I remember a few years back she put together some cookbooks. We're still eating out of those cookbooks. I'm waiting for her to put out a new one. The gentleman that's going to throw the first rock is Mr. Jack Kapler. He's a life member of the Granite Curling Club. Curled for many years. I left it blank. Fill that in later, Jack. Jack's always available for work around the club, and he exemplifies the principles of great curling, a gracious competitor, good sport, and a gentleman. And he's a pretty darn good curler, too. Just watch. Sweeper. Sweepers are skipped off our junior team this year. Maureen Foley, the lady junior curler, and Jake Marley, the junior men curler. See, I told you. Come on back. I invited Jack to practice, but he obviously didn't think he did. Representing the International Curling Federation, Mr. Bob Hardy.
Thank you, Cal. Welcome, brother and sister curler. May your week be fine and nice be keen. The ice is yours. Let the competition begin. Thank you.
field a couple of baseball items today. The Atlanta Braves traded catcher Rick Cerrone to Milwaukee for a pair of minor leaguers and catcher Ted Simmons. New York Mets center fielder Mookie Wilson will miss the beginning of the season. He was hit in the face by a thrown ball today, shattering his glasses and cutting his right eye. 17 stitches to close the wound. And Red Sox pitcher Dennis Oil Can Boyd was sent back to Boston for medical tests. His team physical revealed some problems around his liver. Boyd has suffered 10 to 12 pounds of weight loss. United States National Men's Curling Championships are halfway over. Wisconsin still the leader, but that Wisconsin team suffered its first loss this morning. The team from Washington upset them to move into a tie with two other teams for second place. Curling is rapidly gaining popularity. It will be an exhibition sport, like baseball was 2 summers ago in the 1988 Olympic Games. This is a serious sport, and one look at the participants bears that out. A packed arena, overflow crowds from all over the nation, a closed-circuit television system, evidence that curling has attracted quite a following. These circles are the house. Points are earned by placing the rock within the stripes, a sort of shuffleboard on ice. Kurt Fish of the Washington team used to play basketball and football, but now it's curling.
Curling takes, just the absolute finesse and balance, and then from there, strategy and a lot of judgment.
Concentration. That is probably the most important tool of the game. It is etched in the faces of the competitors. Before they deliver the rock, as they deliver the rock, after the rock has gone. Concentration.
Well, you want to just feel comfortable. You don't want to hang on to it too tight. You want to kind of pull it back like a pendulum in a clock and just kind of keep it nice and straight underneath your head. The shooter has to hit the broom and put the right handle on it and throw the right weight. Because this ice out here this weekend's been really tricky. The sweepers have as much influence on what the rock's going to do as the shooter himself, because if he can maybe be 10 feet light, and the sweepers can pick up on that early and sweep at that extra 10 feet. It just takes, sheer absolute balance and judgment.
Very interesting sport, and we'll keep that track all this week. One final item, South Africa's Jerry Coetzee stepped in the ring for the last time. He lost his heavyweight fight yesterday. Today he announced he is going to retire from boxing. Yesterday he lost to heavyweight boxer in the first round, Frank Bruno. Perfect name for a boxer, Frank Bruno.
Interesting story on curling. I have never seen it explained before.
It's very fascinating, and it's out at 130th and Aurora is where they're playing all week. It's Curling Week in Seattle, as declared by the mayor, and all the best teams in the country are here. Seattle and state of Washington is a power in this sport.
Lou, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brad Cooper, the first Seattleite to be killed in combat in the Gulf War. Army Private First Class Cooper was killed on Wednesday when a vehicle he was in was hit by an Iraqi artillery shell. As KOMO's John Siegenthaler reports, today friends remembered Brad as a nice guy who made people laugh.
He just had a real warm smile, just real nice, outgoing person, made friends real easy and fun-loving. Just a good kid.
Just the other day, Ron Sharp's sister received a letter from Brad Cooper. The 23-year-old soldier said he wanted her to send hundreds of chocolate chip cookies. He also expressed his fears about the war.
He knew he was in a dangerous situation and hoping to get back home safe and sound. He was in the cavalry unit, so he was right up at the front line.
Brad Cooper was born in Seattle. He attended Kellogg Junior High School before moving to Denver. He eventually returned to Seattle, where he pursued one of his favorite passions, curling, a sport in which a disc is helped across the ice with brooms. He joined this curling club in North Seattle. Today, the club posted a sign to inform members about his death.
Wore a lot of flashy clothes, a lot of day glow colors and things like that. Got his ears pierced, and he had a braid for a while, which was kind of wild for a kid. But he was his own unique kind of person out here. Nobody else like him.
John Siegenthaler, KOMO News 4.
Brad Cooper joined the Army less than 2 years ago. He was supposed to be discharged in May. In fact, his family had already begun planning a homecoming celebration in his honor.
There's much more to come in this special hour edition of KOMO News 4 as we update.
We have said a number of times, and we say again now, that the early reports from the Allies indicate light casualties. But light is a relative term. If your son dies, numbers mean little. Brad Cooper's parents know that, so do his friends tonight. The young Army Private First Class died Wednesday when his anti-aircraft vehicle was hit by Iraqi fire. He died with 2 other soldiers who were based with him at Fort Hood. Young Mr. Cooper was, of course, from Seattle. His death was reported by us first on Friday when the Army reported it to us. His death, of course, has not been lost in the events of this last weekend, not to his family and not to his friends who grieve for him tonight.
All of the friends we talked to agree. If Brad was still alive and not in the Gulf, he'd be here. This was Brad's passion. It's a sport called curling, kind of like shuffleboard on ice. It is always cold here in this room, but it is especially cold today. Someone taped a message to the window the other day. Everyone here knew who Brad was. The people who curl make up kind of a tight community. And we talked with a few of them today about what Brad was like and how much they now miss him.
I found Brad to be just a real nice young guy, you know, and real well-liked, and always had lots of friends and a smile on his face.
Something tragic like that happens. I mean, you have to stop and sit back and reflect on things, and I think he would want us to remember him as, you know, happy-go-lucky guy that he was.
And being in the cavalry, he was right at the front line. Knew he was in a risky position, but as fate would have it, he was one of the unlucky ones.
You won't see too many tears among this group. Tears were not something Brad would have wanted to see, but there is a deep feeling of loss, knowing a friend and teammate won't be coming home. Wayne Garcia, Cairo News.
All right, some of the best young athletes in the country are sweeping into Seattle this morning.
They are here to compete for the Junior National Curling Championships. They kick off this weekend, and King 5's Tim Robinson's on the ice right now with members of the team. Don't hurt yourself out there.
You know, that's the thing, Joyce, about this is, I mean, this stuff is so slippery. It really is surprising. Look at this. This is kind of fun, actually. I just went past Katie. Katie is the lone representative this morning of the junior women's team from the state of Washington, right? Yeah. When do you compete? When do you start?
Early November is when our team first got
But the tournament this weekend?
It starts on Saturday.
Great, good luck. We're all pulling for you, and we're pulling for these guys too. Now, guys, take it away here. I know they're standing in the house. That's the big red circle, and the blue in the middle is the button. Now, what are they going to be trying to do, Katie?
They're going to try to get as close to the middle center white button and underneath the blue.
On the other end? Yeah,
and try to draw around the guard so that they can get closest to the button for a point.
Now, so the two guys in front, they're sweep. Why are they going nuts like that?
To try to keep the rock to go straight, or if it's light, then you sweep and it'll go faster.
So if they weren't doing that, would it go slower?
Yeah, it goes slower and probably curl a lot more than it is.
Hence the curling.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Katie, very much. Okay, guys, we just have a couple seconds left. Bring one down. This is called throwing the rock. Go ahead and do it right now. Boy, my producer's going to be mad if you don't throw that down now. We wanted you to take a nice shot. Everything we've planned, everybody, Brad and Joyce, has fallen apart here. These guys are good at curling, but boy, put them in front of a camera. Anyway, hopefully they're going to do a lot better coming up this Saturday, right? That's when it starts, this Saturday. It's this weekend and then the next weekend, correct? 2 weekends for the national championships right here. And we have more information for everybody if they want it on how you can take part. Look, here it comes right here. You get an ice-eye view, Brad and Joyce. Take a look at this.
I've always said it's like shuffleboard on ice, but it's more difficult than that because you got to get down there and sweep really hard. I've curled in Detroit before, and it's a workout. Oh yeah, because it's big, obviously back there. But
yeah, those guys, you can see how much pressure they're putting on those brooms, on the sweepers.
And right? You notice how the ice is bubbly too, which people can't see through the camera as well. But they bubble up the ice to give it those ridges on the rocks, and it's really fascinating. Everything technically that's involved in that sport that people don't see, and it's not a very popular sport. So
I'm thinking, Brad, that if you could let Rich take over the anchoring duties, if you could get out here and help us out.
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really neat. And we have a lot more coming up, everybody, so stay tuned.
All right, we'll see them tossing that rock again. Thanks. All right, let's get that solar forecast with Rich.
Oh, go ahead. Admit it, Brad, you have your own curling broom.
Yeah. I hate to use a broom, but it is actually fun when you're curling. So.
Actually, I've grown to like that during the Olympics. It's actually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it actually is. It's just kind of a foreign sport to this country.
Yeah, well, you might be thinking icy this morning. It's a cold morning around Western Washington with temperatures in the 20s, but it's a beautiful one out there.
At Selden's.
Granite Curling Club. This is in Seattle, the big site this weekend for guys like him and women like, oh, there they go right there. This is part of the men's junior team. Come with me, Corey. And what they're going to be doing is competing starting this weekend. What have we just witnessed, Corey?
Well, they just threw a draw. It's going to land in the house. That's what they call a draw.
So he's sweeping in front of it.
He's sweeping. He's actually speeding up the rock, and it's making it go farther.
And so he looks at how far it is and sweeps more or more. What kind of throw is that?
That's a great throw. That's right in the 4-foot line.
The 4-foot line. So how many would that be worth?
That was one because every rock in the house counts as 1 point, no matter where it is in the house.
Okay, guys, you want to go ahead and do another one. Jerry, if you want to watch the takeoff, and we'll get out of your way, Jerry. So what's that cord behind you? We're going to jump some rope here. Look at that. All right, Corey, so how's this looking to you?
This is looking good, yeah. I might need to sweep a little bit less, but it's looking pretty good.
Sweep less, guys. That's what Corey says. So it looks like it's not even going to get down there, but they sweep more furiously, and it goes a little bit further.
It actually melts a little tiny layer of the ice, and the rock glides over the water.
Wow, so that was a really good shot, right?
That was a perfect shot, perfect shot.
And so how does the scoring work on these things? Why don't you guys go ahead and do another one? We need more action on this thing, guys. More stones on there. How many stones would there be?
Well, after all the end is close to done, there's going to be maybe 10 stones, and then it's all strategy because you got the guards in front of the house, and then you got rocks in the house that are actually scoring. So
rocks in the house. Do one more, guys. We have time for one more here. Come over here, Corey. Let's get out of the way of our camera guy. Here he goes. All right, this is the last shot. Looking good. What is the guy who's sliding along with it? What's
He's
he
called
called?
the shooter. He's the one who's shooting at the present time. So he just delivers the stone, basically.
Beautiful. Thanks, Corey, very much. So the big tournament, Brad and Joyce, starts this Saturday. Man, I am sliding on this ice. It starts this Saturday and Sunday, and it's also going to be next Saturday and Sunday. There are teams from all over the place. There are flags on the walls here from all the different state teams. And this young man, he was actually, you were first, or how did you do last year?
Well, last year I actually didn't make it to nationals, so this is
big weekend for this guy. Big weekend for this guy. We have more information on our website if you want to know about this weekend's tournament and next weekend's tournament for the national championship right here. Good luck to you, Corey.
Thank you.
Hey,
Show us
Corey.
more stuff. Corey, we got a question back there from Joyce.
Because you know I always have a question.
Yeah.
I just have to know, how does one get interested in curling? Does he come from a long line of curlers? Did he watch it on TV one day and say, hey, I want to do that?
How did you get into this, and how old were you?
Well, my father is Canadian, so he kind of introduced me. I was 8 years old probably when I started. Just got me out here with a little broom and a little rock, and he just got me started, and I just got hooked.
Was it Little Rock, this 42-pounder?
Yeah, they're like smaller than these are full-size adult rocks. For little kids, they have littler rocks that they can throw all the way down there.
Great.
Little rocks, adult rocks, what a sport. Who would have thought, Joyce and Brad? Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me remind people, you don't just throw those rocks. They're quite heavy.
Yeah, they are. 42 pounds, right?
42 pounds for the adult rocks.
You notice I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him, and both the men and the women's team. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
Well, 2 women are recovering this morning after a man tried to torch them. Steely Dan.
Championships start this weekend in Seattle.
Yeah, 2 teams from our state are part of that big competition. King 5's Tim Robinson is live on the curling rink, checking them out as they get ready to compete. Tim?
Yeah, I'm with these athletes right here. We have Katie, Corey, and John. Katie is with the Washington junior women's team. These 2 Jamokes are with the junior men's team. And we have a crew up there. Okay, Katie and John, go take your places back there, because we're going to use you in a minute. Now, Corey, tell me what we are looking at right now. Explain how hard this is.
Well, yeah, he's throwing the shot, my friend Brett, and those 2 guys are sweeping right now, and they're basically making the rock go a little bit farther.
How long did it take these guys, you guys, to learn to make this rock do this? Because this is incredibly hard.
Well, to be competent, it takes probably a good year, at least, to be halfway competent.
All right, well, given that I practiced during the commercial, if somebody could hold this, do I have to do it with the sweeper, the broom?
No, you don't have to have a sweeper, no.
All right. So I need that little thing for my foot. I'm actually going to, yet again, Brad and Joyce, make a fool of myself. And Katie, can you hold this microphone, please? And so, coach me. What am I supposed to do?
Well, basically, here, take the broom for balance.
Okay, right.
And then, so what you want to do is push off with your back leg and slide ahead with your slider clip.
All right, here we go. How's that?
That was good for a first try.
That's pretty good, isn't it? See? What great form. Now, to show you how talented these people are, Katie, you give it a try, and we're going to see quite a difference. Now, I had that little pad under my shoe because my shoe doesn't slide, but she's got special curling shoes. Take it away, Katie. She's throwing the rock. See, that's pretty nice. That looks good. Now, you take all that time while you're sliding, Corey, to aim the thing you have up until that blue line?
Yeah, you got it all the way from here, the hack to the blue line to release the rock. And after that, if you get it past, it's pulled rock.
Okay, the rock's weight really doesn't come into play other than having the trajectory or the physics, I guess, to go all the way down there, because you don't really have to lift it or anything.
Oh, yeah.
John, real quick, you do it because apparently you've got the greatest form of all. This guy, take a look real quick, Brad and Joyce. Brad, this guy could give you a run for your money. John apparently is Mr. Form. Look at that. How beautiful is that?
Gorgeous.
Yeah. See, it's really, really tough, Joyce and Brad. I mean, I'm having a hard enough time just standing up here. But to do this kind of thing, these guys are really talented.
How do they train for it, Timmy?
Well, you know, they train a lot. This Granite
like
Curling Club,
weightlifting, or
how much
what do they do?
Train? I mean, do you guys practice a lot?
We're out here about 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
Do you lift weights, aerobics, anything like that?
Not so much that, but just a lot of work, a lot of endurance, because sweeping and.
To his credit, Joyce, he actually described it as kind of, let's face it, the sport is somewhat dorky. He did say that. I did not.
We're saying it's technical.
It's all
very
technical.
technical.
You know what I've heard, Brad, is it's a lot like golf on ice, you know, it's compared to that. So these guys are very talented, and anybody can come and see them. The tournament starts this weekend, and it goes throughout the week. I'd said earlier it's on the weekends, but it's actually this weekend, goes throughout the week, and the finals will be next weekend. So we want to wish these guys good luck. The junior men's team from Washington, the junior women's team, Katie, thank you, from Washington, and then there's going to be teams from all over the country who are going to be here.
Well, good luck to them, and thanks to them for getting up early, showing us this great sport.
Yes.
All right, Timmy, talk to you later.
Those are the big games. Stuff like that never happens in the little games. We never forget about the little people. That's why we're bringing you tonight's stellar performance on the little games.
Joanne Fitzgerald of the United States, ready to slide her stone down the ice. She lets it go. Uh-oh, not quite enough juice. That's not going to be good enough for a medal. Hold it. Now it's Joanna's big brother Tommy taking over. Down he goes. It's the American's last rock. Tommy lets it fly. This time it looks like a good one.
Sweep, sweep. Hurry, hurry, sweep, sweep. Hurry, hurry.
The sweepers sweep like crazy.
Harder.
And look at that rock.